Hello friends. Now let us take up the 8th project in our PFG series. The task of this project is preparing and printing the census report of BSE and NSE. The full form of BSE is Bombay Stock Exchange. Full form of NSE is National Stock Exchange. These stock exchanges organize trading of shares of different companies, hundreds of companies and all that. And for them an index is calculated. For BSc purpose, 30 financially sound and well established companies they take, and based on their trading on a particular day, the index is calculated. For that, certain parameters are there. In the same way, NSE, National Stock Exchange, based on 50 large capital companies and trading it takes, volume of trading it takes, and based on that, it creates index for a particular day. For every day, they publish four indexes. That is opening index, max index, min index, the minimum index, and closing index. Opening, maximum or high, low, and closing index. Now, for Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange also, the four figures are published every day. Okay. Now, simply seeing four figures, we cannot come to a conclusion. That's why let us take an average of that, average of the four. Then we can have an idea how trading is happening and all that. Actually, the indexes are calculated based on certain parameters and all that. If you are interested, you can learn about them. Here, one thing I am telling you, not only introducing programming, calculations, logics, etc. and all that, I introduce various domains, business domains and all that, and you can have an interaction here. And if you are interested, you can explore them in the ChatGPT other platform, and you can have knowledge. That is very important. Okay, now here what we have to find out, let us see that. Here, if you see this table, already I told you, first focus on the table, so focus on the output. Based on that, you can design it. Here, if you see that there are two exchanges. For each exchange, how many variables are there? Four indexes are there, one average is there. For each exchange, 5 data items are there. Two exchanges, 10 data items are there. Okay, totally 10 variables you have to calculate. For the sake of simplicity, I have taken integer. Actually, the indexes are printed as a float, but for the sake of simplicity, I have taken integer value. So here, how many variables are required? Totally 5 into 2, 10 variables are required. Out of that, 8, 4 into 2, 8 are input variables and 2 are output variables. So in input section, we have to write 8 input functions or input statements, and using int function, we have to convert them as real winds and all that. And in processing section, we have to write two statements, one for BSE average, second one for NSE average. So this is a mental work. Thereafter, which names you have to give it. That always people take lighter, but it's not so lighter. Here, whenever abbreviations are there, you take capital. Now, BSE opening, BSE closing, BSE max or high, BSE low or min. Like that you take. For NSE also same. Here capital letters use, underscore use, then opening, closing, short names use. Then it is easily understandable. And now after having this idea, the design is over. Now let us write the program, that is coding. Now first write the comment. Comment is PFG-8 program to prepare and print census report of stock exchanges. You write in short form as you like. Okay. Thereafter, we have to enter data, input data for 8 items. Those are BSE 4 and NSE 4 and all that. Actually, what you have to do, don't forget that int because we are taking as int. If you want to take float, you can take it, nothing wrong in that. Input, here other side 2 brackets will come, don't forget that. All 8 should be converted as int. Okay, now everything you know. Actually, one more thing I have to tell you. Actually, in output, you are expecting a block division. This is let us say BSc input statements. These are NSC input statements. In between, if you want a space, a line gap, then one empty print function you see, you can find it. Here, empty print, you write empty, you need not write anything. Then in output, you can find the gap between BSc and NSC. Whenever you want to show output in blocks and all that, that is mainly input statement, you write this print. Okay. Now, all 8 input items are given and your program read and showed them in corresponding variables. Okay. Thereafter, processing section. In processing section, what we have to do? We have to calculate the average of BSc. Simply, you give BSc average and NSC average. Okay. Then, what you do? 4 items. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Here, 4, not 1, 2. Why am 2? We are ignoring the fractional part. If you want, if you take them as a float and you give 1 only. Already explained to you. However, remember that if you want to ignore the fractional part, you give 2 slashes. Otherwise, single slash you give. Okay. Now, PSC average and NSC average we calculated. Now, let us write the output section. Just every time I am telling you, you must require the proper practice in order to write that. Every bit of the thing I already explained in previous program. If you have practice, you can write it smoothly. Otherwise, you have to waste a lot of time. Otherwise, you commit some errors. Here you see that clearly. First, write the output on a paper. There are 15 lines. Totally count 15 lines are there. That means you have to write 15 print statements properly. And why I am giving so many projects, for the sake of practice. Without practicing and all that, mainly in output section, you have to waste a lot of time. I know many professional programmers also, they are very good at programming, but they are very poor at writing output sections and alignment and all that. You should not be in that category. That's why every time I am advising you, focus on print perfectly. Whatever format I have produced, your program should generate the same format. So, in this way, 15 lines you write, and don't forget this. Here, let us say I needed 13 dashes for a drawing line. Sorry, 35. Right. You require 40, right? If you require 30, right? See the simple way, and that always you follow this program and future programs. Finally, see the output. See that 4 item line gap, 4 item line gap, 4 item. Thereafter, you are producing output in a very reliable and elegant format. One should love it. Actually, there may be some errors and all that, but only thing is, if you are able to produce output and display that, you can satisfy others. Mainly, already I told you, you feel like a professional, don't feel like a student. So, professionally, what for you are developing this project? For sake of others. Others should satisfy. Your client satisfies with the 2 elements. One is how easily he can give the input to the program, how easily is able to get the output, and how it is readable. Those are the parameters that always keep in mind. Feel like a professional, don't feel like a student.